guys, Aaron Chalner here for Forever Football, DRFC, your Doncaster Rovers fan channel. Welcome to DRFC Daily Reports, bringing you the latest news from Doncaster Rovers Football Club. How are we all feeling today? We're only a few days away now from the end of the season, the end of our season anyway. I will be covering the playoffs. I will be doing the sort of reviews of the semi-final legs for Championship, League 1, League 2. We are going to review the Champions League and Europa League finals, the Euros coming up. So we've got some big stuff still to come on this channel with some brand new videos up for grabs. We're also going to work with some journalists over the transfer period, and once the new manager gets announced, we're going to have some videos from that, get in touch with some people, try and get some their thoughts on the new manager and all that jazz. So please like, comment, subscribe, click the notification bell so you never miss another video. Got plenty of content to come on this channel, and let's get into the topics of discussion today. So today is all about Andy Butler coming out about decision making in terms of performances, as well as looking at his other comments. The goalkeeper Lewis Jones, who arguably was my man of the match, spoke out about the performances that he's been doing, and we're also going to be looking at some other Rovers news as well. We're also going to launch a brand new series in the summer, so stay tuned for it. It's a very League One based series. And for now, guys, let's have a look at exactly what's been going on. So we have to start with this very important story. Now, this is from a journalist, a verified journalist called Paul Goodwin, and he's given his verdict on the Doncaster Rovers of this season and the future where they go. So I thought I'd just share this with you and sort of share my thoughts on whether I agree with this or not. So the main headline with this verdict from Paul Goodwin is Doncaster Rovers at crossroads after seismic collapse. So this is what he had to say. Supporters have every right to be angry, upset and concerned about the way this season has played out. Doncaster Rovers may have had to contend with a revenue-sapping global pandemic, another managerial departure and some really unhelpful injuries, but none of the above excuses one of the club's worst ever post-Christmas slumps and some of the most abject performances of recent times. If Rovers had flirted around in mid-table for the entirety of an alien season, no one would have probably batted an eyelid. But to go from title-winning form to relegation form and so tamely surrender what might have been their best chance of promotion for years has raised some questions about the club's drive and decision-making, as well as their current models of recruitment and retention. Rovers are stuck in a vicious cycle. They're about to appoint a fourth manager in 5.5 years and embark on yet another squad rebuild. That bit's very important. I'll go on about that at the end. They are at crossroads, and if they continue on the same path, they risk going absolutely nowhere. I agree with that 100%. So why did the season go so badly wrong? We'll probably never know the true ripple effects caused by Darren Moore's departure to Sheffield Wednesday, but it quite clearly had a huge destabilising effect on the dressing room. A perfect storm erupts when you add the January exit of captain Ben Whiteman, the injuries, the unrelenting schedule, the number of contracts left to run down, and an over-reliance on loan players. When a team goes from well-oiled machine to lifeless rabble, though, it deserves much closer inspection. The rot may have set in before Moore left, but he has also built a young, energetic side who beat Charlton, Portsmouth, Ipswich, Lincoln and Blackpool before the end of November, and after 23 games sat third in League 1 with 48 points, 3 behind the then leaders Lincoln, with 2 games in hand on the Imps. It raised expectation levels, but there was no fluke either. Moore's Rovers had their faults, but they were well organised, everyone knew their job, and the squad appeared to buy into the rotation policy. The camp seemed motivated, well drilled and united, at least from the outside looking in. Victories over Swindon, Rochdale and Wimbledon initially suggested the team had adapted to losing Whiteman, but the cracks then started to appear in the more fortuitous wins over Oxford United and Lincoln. Those cracks literally burst open when Tom Anderson went off injured against Fleetwood, and the defensive foundations that much of the early season form had been built on collapsed completely. Short of leaders, drained with confidence, and minus John Taylor, Tyrese John Jules and a fully fit Josh Sims attacking outlets, what followed made for distressing viewing as a team that promised so much completely self-imploded and appeared to do so with very little professional pride. It might have been different had Rovers embarked on their managerial recruitment process the minute Moore decided to leave. It might have been different they had a more experienced manager. It might have been different had Andy Butler have been afforded the support of an assistant or continued to pick himself. It might have been different that fans being inside stadiums to vent their feelings. What might have been, we'll never know. But Butler sparked a reaction for the wins over Plymouth and Portsmouth, but was powerless to stop the slide. He wanted all action, robustness and entertainment, but exactly the opposite, and his absence from the heart of the defence only made matters worse. A rousing comeback at Peterborough and the win at Rochdale only served to prove that they had not become bad players overnight. Rovers probably weren't as good as results initially suggested or as bad as the results that followed, but the league table does not lie, and the prospect of a bottom half finish after being so well positioned for a promotion push is an embarrassing one. So did Rovers simply run out of steam? Butler and Coppinger both suggest that the drop-off was down to inexperience and more specifically the high percentage of players in the squad either in their first or second season in the Football League. It's a fair point. Their bodies and minds are simply not tuned to the rigours of a normal 46-game campaign, let alone one crammed in due to COVID. Compare this squad with the Rovers' battle-hardened title winners for 2013, for instance. There is no comparison whatsoever. But what their theory does not excuse is the shameful performance against Wigan, the hopeless second-half collapse against Burton, and an alarming lack of pride in the badge when the going got tough. Nor does it really explain why the likes of Taylor Richards and Jason Aquilo have suddenly found a second win during the dying embers, although confidence is clearly a major factor. What it does suggest that the squad is imbalanced in terms of age and experience, and the number of players in each age bracket should be urgently reviewed. And, you know, we were speaking about the under-23s in the past. Maybe we shouldn't have really got rid of that because that could have been a nice bridge gap to the first team. But finances probably helped towards the close of the under-23s this season. But hopefully next season we can get that up. So where do Rovers go from here? Well, Paul's said getting into the Championship would be worth about £5 million extra in Premier League solidarity payments. So even after witnessing such a pitiful collapse, it's a fallacy to think the club is not striving for promotion. But striving for something and actually achieving it are two very different things, and it's reasonable to question just how badly the owners crave second-tier status and how willing they are to fund a concerted promotion push, particularly during a global pandemic which has cut off regular revenue streams. The reality is that the seasoned top-end League One players that Rovers was short of this term won't come cheap. So is Rovers content to be challenging for 6th spot in League One every season, or is there a burning desire to get back into the Championship and stay there? Welcome to the crossroads. Rovers could continue to roll the dice every summer by signing players mainly on short-term deals and making full use of the loan market. It's a cost-effective way of operating, but, as this season has shown, it's less likely to get the required results. They could turn that approach on its head by recruiting players on longer-term deals, reduce the number of loan players, and build a squad that could potentially grow together. A 3-year deal for John Taylor already indicates a change of approach. Or more radically, they could play the long game by trusting more of their own academy players and putting any immediate promotion ambitions to the side in search of longer-term health benefits. The most likely outcome this summer, given the financial climate, is a mixture of all three. What is worrying is that the playoff appearance under McCann 2 years ago is beginning to look like an anomaly since the club's relegation from the Championship back in 2014. The strong core of McCann's squad, Butler, Andrew, Whiteman, Rowe, Blair, Coppinger, Marquis, gradually weakened during Moore's tenure, and rebuilding that will be key to any future promotion hopes. It's a huge job for the next manager to not only rebuild the squad, but also rebuild confidence and re-engaging with frustrated supporters. And if Rovers do harbour serious promotion ambitions, the club must take a different path to their current one. Paul Goodwin, my friend. Paul Goodwin. You are absolutely on the money with every single thing you have said. Now, I'm not one to criticise the owners. I'm not going to do that. I think the owners can do something. I think they're starting to show something off the field in terms of a different path. And it said it on what Paul said. He said it there. You know, in order to get to the Championship, in order to get the £5 million more in parachute payments from the Premier League, in order to be a more financially stable club, we need to get promoted out of this division. I think a fan messaged me last night or the night before and said, you're turning into the new Peterborough. We've been in this division now, 5 years now? Because we got back into it from League Two after a year there. So we're back into it. Next season will be our 5th season. Take away the season in League 2, we'll have been in this division, 7 years? Take away the season in League 2. So we don't want to turn into what Peterborough did and wait 9 years for another promotion. We can't be doing that. We need to get out of this division sooner rather than later. And, rival fans can have banter and that, but I've had fans from Hull, from Peterborough, from Wigan, from Charlton, from Ipswich, from Wimbledon, from all these fan groups message me and say, hey, hang on a second, what's this collapse and fall from grace this season? You guys should have been way up there. You guys should have been promoted by now. You should have been in the automatics, if not the playoffs. You should be confirming top 6 by now. And Paul made some interesting points there. The board have admitted their mistakes. They admitted they over-relied on loans. They said they're going to make a different approach. I feel a new era is on the way, and it will go down one of two ways. It will go down the wrong way, which I don't want to happen for the club, which will be, we'll continue the approach we're on now, we'll not go anywhere, there'll be a massive crossroads, as Paul said in his verdict, and we'll end up getting relegated to League 2 again. Or, we go down what I think the club could do, and that's go down the right way, where we go down a completely different approach. We don't do short term for short success. We go down long term for longer success. Now, whether that's homegrown talent, 1 or 2 loanees, and longer deals, that's what we do. That's what we have to do. Longer term contracts, longer term deals, less loan players, more academy talent coming through the ranks, and we'll have a Donny DNA squad. And I spoke to Terry on the Football Terrace weeks ago, and days ago, and he said to me, live on air on one of those shows, you need more Donny DNA. And I agree with him. And KJ said we need more Donny DNA, you need more Donny players. Terry and KJ are both absolutely correct. We need a Donny DNA. Because this season it felt like a temporary DNA that we hired from the charity shop. It felt like, we loaned in a Donny DNA for a season. You can't loan something in like a DNA of this squad. That's not loanable. We can't loan the DNA of a squad. That's never part of the equation. That's never part of the situation. A proper Donny DNA cannot be loaned in. It needs to be set in stone. And I think the club will do that over the summer. Make the right appointment. We get the announcement of who the manager's going to be. We get the announcement of the talent ID manager. I did see something on Twitter this morning from Liam replying to someone about, the situation behind the talent and ID manager. He has agreed. He's signed with the club. He's just tying up some loose ends where he's currently working, apparently. So, that one's set in stone. They know who they've signed. We're going to hear who's going to sign at the end of the season. That when the new manager comes in, he signs the players he wants to sign. He gets rid of the players he wants to get rid of. He brings in the right people. And if it's an ambitious manager that wants nothing but promotion, won't achieve anything less than promotion automatically or at least playoffs, then we could go somewhere. And if we stop going down the over-reliance of loans again, we'll actually turn a corner. And I think with the new deal for John Taylor, with the new deal for Greaves, with the new 2-year deal for Seaman, and bearing in mind, by the way, we've rarely seen a 2-year deal, let alone a 3-year deal. So we've got one guy on a 3-year deal, John Taylor. We've got Seaman on a 2-year deal. We've got Greaves on another year with an extensional year. Off the field in terms of contracts, we're starting to turn a corner. We're turning a corner. We're not going down the current path. We're going down a brand new one. And now, with Coppinger retiring on the last day of the season on Sunday this weekend, I feel like it's the end of an era and moving into a new one. And it could be an era that's just as exciting as the John Ryan era was. It could be just as exciting, in my opinion. Because we could be going down a completely different path, which could be very exciting. So Paul Goodwin 100% was spot on in that verdict. 100%. We can't loan in a Donny DNA. We need to build it and set it in stone permanently. And keep building on that. Keep building on the attractive football philosophy. Keep building on the constant top 6 finishes. Keep building, keep aspiring, keep achieving, keep being destined for greatness. In the words of Toe, Jizzle and Manny, destined for greatness. back in school days I was known for my lateness. I'm not going to sing that. But you get what I mean. You get what I mean. And we need to start that this summer with whoever the new manager is going to be and whoever the talent ID manager is going to be. Because from what we hear from the talent ID manager, comes from a championship club, had previous experience as a performance analyst, I think already that's the right man. And I'm very excited that we've got someone from the championship to help us. What club? We don't know. By championship, do they mean current championship clubs? So that could include Norwich, Watford, any of the peak teams in the playoffs, Barnsley, Brentford, Bournemouth, Swansea. You know, is it a mid-table team like a QPR or a Stoke or a Millwall or Luton or Preston? We don't know. But I hope it's someone who's ambitious for promotion just as much as the manager could be, the new manager, and what direction the club wants to go in. So, Donny are in a crossroads in that retrospect. And this summer's going to be probably the most critical summer in this club's entire history, because it decides where we go as a club. Do we go down or do we go up? And what every fan wants is to go up, because we get the £5 million in parachute payments instead of, you know, less than what's offered in League One, and we become a better club. And if they can keep that £5 million and invest in the squad sensibly, like we do in League One, if we go down a permanent route, we only bring in 1 or 2 loanees, we bring the rest of them are permanent players, and we build a proper Donny DNA squad. Don't then blow all the money in the Championship if we go up. Keep doing the same philosophy, and just up the quality, and just of signing, and then just keep going with the philosophy and the DNA of the recruitment process, because we'll have a proper DNA squad. Talent, heart, passion, skill, playing for the badge, 100%. And we could be dangerous in the Championship if we could do. So, I don't know, I found it was really interesting when I found that verdict, and you know, he's 100% correct in what he said. So, but there we go. Let's move into our next story then, and this was after the sort of match between Blackpool and Doncaster. Obviously, it was a 2-0 defeat. And Andy Butler says decision making on the ball must improve if they're to handle close attention from the opposition going forward. So it was the 2 goals from Ellis Sims seeing Blackpool run out relatively comfortable winners in driving rain on the Fylde coast. And obviously Blackpool confirmed their playoff place. So shout out to Lee Charles TV and all the Blackpool fans for being in the playoffs. You're going to be on the up. You've got an owner that backs you now. Neil Critch is a wonderful manager. You got a nice squad, a wonderful squad. Donny Bourne, Jerry Yates. If we could sign him, then that'll be brilliant because he's Donny Bourne. But that won't happen with us still being in League One and Blackpool potentially in the Championship next season. Obviously, a former Donny player, James Husband, he's out of contract in the summer. You know, should we be looking at him if Reece James walks? Who knows? There's some interesting players in that squad, man. Ellis Sims, we were rumoured to look at him in January for a loan deal to the end of the season, but obviously Blackpool got him instead. So, you know, a lot of players in there that have made us pay for our own mistakes. And Andy Butler did come out and say they do not want Rovers to abandon their intent to play good possession football, but says improvement is needed if it is to be effective. Now this is an official statement to the Free Press. He thinks, I think we do play good football, and we do play good through the thirds, but it's just about the decision making. It's getting it to the number 4 and then seeing what the options are there, what is the movement like up front. Teams will press up because of the nature of how we play. Butler says he will stick to such principles if he's handled the job on a longer term basis next week. And he feels that if attempts to get Rovers playing more effectively have been hampered with injuries, with Tuesday's game the first game would be able to name the same starting 11 from the previous match. Now he says the approach won't change if I'm in charge. My philosophy is I want to play good football, which is part of the criteria, attractive football. I don't want to see route 1, that there are times that there are different ways of playing out from the back. I like to see us dominate possession, but it's been difficult because I've not had a settled side. That was my first time in the tenure that I've been able to name the same 11 due to injuries, and that even I've got 2 injuries in the first half. It's been a learning curve for me and one I've enjoyed. If someone offered it to me again, I'd take it in a heartbeat. And of course we will close out the season on Sunday in James Coppinger's final game for the club. So Butler said if he's offered the job long term, he'll go with the possession style and just improve the quality going forward. So that's his stance. That's what he wants. That's what he wants to go for. Do I think Butler will be longer term manager? No. Do I think he'll be a player next season? Yes, he'll be at centre back next season. He'll be at the heart of our defence fully next season, and it's going to be interesting. It's going to be really, really interesting. I don't expect Butler to be manager next season. I know he wants the job, and I know it's not really his fault. It's been the players throwing the towel in and stabbing him in the back, since Moore left. And, Butler has been made to pay for the players not giving 1 ounce of respect for this club on a consistent basis most of the time since Moore left. So Butler I feel sorry for in that respect, but Butler, I don't think he's ready yet. I think he just needs more experience. Go back to the Bells, be a part-time player in the centre-back position, be the manager of the Bells again, and just go for it again. Just get more experience. I do expect someone different to come in next season. I'd be very surprised if Butler gets announced as manager in the next week, but then again, I really wouldn't expect anything less, because in a way, I think Butler needs his proper squad to fully judge him as a manager. So, maybe it's just one of those fairy tale stories that needs to start off like every fairy tales do, with the bad witch cursing us, putting us under a bad spell, and then we somehow find a way to beat the witch. We all live happily ever after in the Championship and maybe even the Premier League. But we'll see with that one. Now, Jones came out with some comments then to end this particular video. And he sort of was frustrated to come away empty-handed after the 2-0 defeat, and sort of spoke about his performances. He said it was a difficult night for us. They created a lot of chances, and I feel quite unlucky with both goals, but it is what it is. Trust me, Lewis, trust me, you are not at fault for them goals. I think you probably know deep down as well, you're not at fault for them goals. You are 100% arguably the best player in this side, and for the senior players that must be embarrassing, the fact that a young homegrown talent is one of the arguably better players. But Lewis Jones, honestly, it's not your fault, mate. Don't apologise for them. Don't apologise for them. And to be fair, I do like that in a way, because it's team spirit, it's taking collective responsibility, but honestly, don't apologise for them. He said, I knew I had to be ready, so I tried to get out quickly for the first. I got a touch to it, but the bounce of the ball took it in. I was frustrated with the second because I made the save, but the rebound came back off him, and that's just how it goes. And then, of course, after coming back into the team in recent weeks, he spoke about the brief part of the game giving him time to reflect and improve on his game. His official statement was, it's always good to play games, and I probably benefited from being taken back out of the team so I could reflect on things. It gave me the hunger once I got back into the side to keep improving and showing what I could do regularly. Now, he is obviously a amazing player. No doubt an amazing player. And he'll be number one next season. It doesn't matter whether we bring in another keeper on a free transfer or something like that, just to see up the numbers for extra squad depth. He will be number one this season. Absolutely no doubt about it. Because, my message to whoever the new manager is going to be next season, you've got prime, homegrown academy talent there waiting to be used in the first team. Greaves, who was brilliant last night. Horton, who was good last night. Jones, who was world class last night. Ben Blythe's going to be on the rise. Bojang and Cunningham from the under-18s, they'll be brilliant talents. All these academy players are going to be wonderful talents in this side. And, you've got talent there waiting to be used. And I think it's just a matter of time, really. So, there we go. Obviously, there was another big thing that came out from the BBC today. And it was the fan engagement of football clubs. And we were ranked 7th in all of English football. I am going to get that up. I'm going to get that article up because they brought out the table. So this was from the 2019-2020 season, and they only just brought this out now. It's how the big six in the Premier League rate on the new fan engagement table. So, in terms of the table, first is Exeter, then Carlisle, then Cambridge, then Newport, then Wimbledon, then Lincoln, and then us. We have more fan engagement than any Premier League and Championship club. We are over all of them. And this is where the big clubs rank here. Here we go. So the first of the Premier League clubs is Norwich City, who was 10th. Bearing in mind this is a 2019-2020 table. So Norwich are 10th. Leicester are 11th. Everton 13th. This is Premier League. And then these next five are are the big six. They're the big six involved in this whole collapsed Super League plan. So Man City are ranked 46th, Arsenal 47th, Man United 59th in the English football, Tottenham 62, Liverpool 60th before that, and Chelsea 78th in English football. And bearing in mind there's 92 clubs, so imagine being ranked, Chelsea fans, 78 out of 92 teams. I mean, that's embarrassing. But you know what? Seventh place out of all 92 clubs. So proud of this team. So proud of this football club. With Club Doncaster, with the academy, with the scholarships, with the staff, with the players, the manager, the owners, the chairman, the chief executive, everyone that works at the club. We are a family club. We get everyone involved. And it was amazing to read that this morning. The fact that we are 7th out of all 92 clubs in English football. That is amazing. It's a bit embarrassing. It's more than a bit. It's hugely embarrassing for the Premier League to think that where they are. But it shows where the true football lies in this country, the lower leagues, and we should get more respect. So there we go, guys. Thank you very, very much for watching this video. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe. Obviously, preview on the Saturday for the Peterborough match. And don't forget, you can check me out Sunday morning. I'll be at the Keepmoat Stadium for around about 9:30. So if you do see me around, you want to be involved for the vlog for the final day of Coppinger at Doncaster Rovers vlog, then come and find me and we'll get something sorted. And for now, guys, my own channel from Forever Football, DRFC, keep living the Rovers life. And that, my friends, is full time. Rovers till I die. Thank you very much.